I found this beautiful red clay. It came out of the cemetery, and it's a gorgeous color. It's very pure clay, very high in clay content. And can you see how hard it is? I mean, it breaks like rock, and it's just super hard, which is perfect for what I'm going to use it for, right? Because I want a nice hard surface. The problem is I need to break it up in order to mix it with sand, and I don't have the time or equipment to break this up by hammering it, and I need a lot of it. So the best way to do that is to slake it in water, but it has to be absolutely bone dry, because the nature of the material is that, being clay, if it's a little bit moist, there's an electrical bond between the clay particles and the water, and they won't let go of each other. And if it's slightly damp and you put it in water, it'll just sit there, and it'll be a hard, slimy lump. But if it's bone dry and you put it in water, what happens is that the water infiltrates the clay particles, and the clay expands. And when the clay expands, more water goes in, and then the clay expands again, and it just explodes and turns into this.
Here, let me.
Completely broken down, soft, granular material, which actually looks more like sand than clay. What happens when you take this stuff and you start to work with it is that the mechanical agitation sticks the clay to itself, and after a little while, what you get is beautiful plastic, malleable clay again. And that's what you're looking for when you use it for building material or for pottery. So once you slake it, then you have to work it. And the working it turns it into the glue that will bind your sand together to make cob or plaster or pottery. So gone are the particles, because I've agitated them and worked them together and aligned them. The clay particles are all flat, little platelets, and when you work them, you align all those little platelets and organize them, and when they're organized, they're cohesive, just like communities. If they're all fragmented and solitary, they look like this, just blah. But when they're all together, they can do amazing things. And then when you go to slake it, what you want is about a half a container full of water. And you want the water in there first, and you dump this dry stuff slowly into the water so that the water surrounds the material completely. And then you don't stir it, because the water has to be able to work by itself. If you stir it, you start to agitate any free clay particles, and they get sticky like this. And when they get sticky, they cover up their brethren, and the water can't get in anymore, because water doesn't penetrate through that organized clay slip. That's about all.